What's up guys, it's Martin. For this vlog, I'm only going over one session that I played on February 5th. The session was only 3 hours, but there were actually a good amount of hands that I want to go over. Even though some of these didn't make or break my day, I think they're still important to show you guys. As opposed to vlog 1, I might explain a little bit more about the hands and about the game itself. With that said, let's get right into it. I get to Royal Card House at 9:45. This isn't a sponsorship, but I wanted to show you guys a big reason why I play here. The people are great, the atmosphere is cool, but as you guys know, the #1 focus in poker is money. And I actually find that it's cheaper to play here than at the 2 big card clubs in San Antonio. For one, there's a VIP membership that I invest in the beginning of the year, and that helps me out a bit. But I want to show you guys these time pot. They're basically dry Omaha hands. You don't bet anything, so it's luck of the draw. It's optional, but what happens is you put in $5 and the house will put in $10, sometimes $15 if they're feeling generous. Or sometimes you can put in $10 and the house will put in $20, $25, even $30. But essentially over the long run, you end up paying less than $10 an hour to play here. So for example, these 2 time pots that I won $45 in time. So that $10 that I put easily covered my next 2 or 3 sessions. I don't play these when I'm like a short stack or still working on building my stack up. But over the long run, it's good to play these time pots because the house is putting their own money into them. So statistically, you're at an advantage. Aside from that, they have solid promos that get hit frequently. Now again, this isn't a sponsorship, it's just something I want to show you guys that play in San Antonio. Come by and tell them Martin sent you. Try a hand. I need hearts.
They traded
I know.
Flush.
Cap ready. Jet.
I'll take. No, I got a flush.
We got 10 high flush.
All right.
It'll go to Martin. Okay.
Before I show this first hand, I do also want to note that the lighting isn't perfect here. That's why a lot of these hands, y'all will notice a glare on the cards, but that's one thing you get for paying less to play here. Sometimes when you play here, there's like a seat or two where there is a glare on the cards, so you gotta ask for a seat change. But like throughout this video, for me, I can actually see the cards well. It's just the camera's point of view. But I show y'all the cards on the screen and the board went out, so it's okay. Of course, my first buy-in is 100, and 10 minutes in, I'm dealt a bomb pot hand. At Royal Bomb Pot, you put $5, and it's a double board PLO. No action pre-flop, so the flop's dealt right away. And also, it's a dealer choice on the number of cards in your hand. So it's interesting because sometimes people want to play 6, 7, 8 cards. What helps me when there's more cards is I just put them in order in my hand, so they're easier to keep track. And then, of course, the more cards in your hand, the stronger you want to be. So if you have 6+ cards, you want at least like the nut flush or big full houses. You don't want to be going in there with like just the second nut flush or queen high flush. Okay.
Go ahead. Cool.
In this one, we check around on the flop, and on one board I have the straight with the flush redraw, and on the other board I have top 2 pair.
Second chance.
Check.
Okay. $40.
I check, and a late position player raises pot. I'll go all in. And when it comes to me, since I'm a short stack, I play this a little more gambly and decide to go all in hopes to isolate to just me and that raiser.
90. Damn.
So this is one reason why I like to start off with a short stack is like, if I had $200 here, I wouldn't be making this move. I would maybe even fold here. And let's say hypothetically this board doesn't run out well for me and I lose this 100. Well, when I buy in the 2 to 400, then I still have like a different image. I have like a looser image, and that image that I set with the short stack isn't going to match what I set for when I have a bigger stack. So that like in the long run will help disguise my hands, because one of the biggest part of my game is disguising my hands. And that's one little piece of it, that change of strategy. It makes it hard to predict what I have because I act different ways in different situations. It's just a lot to consider. If you're going up against me, it's hard to guess what I have.
Royal freak off, guys. At 10 o'clock, we will be passing out the baby oil,
I got the loose collar over here. Unfortunately, a guy calls, and this guy, I saw him play aggressively earlier. So I don't like this because I know he's chasing draws, which just means I'm dodging more cards. It's 3 of us to the river, and the board with my straight brings in the flush, which I'm not sure if that's good. And the bottom board still holds 2 pair.
Show me
I
something.
have a flush. The fucking biggest.
Got ace 10 flush.
I have ace. What is it? Do you have a straight down here?
I was on both boards.
Or no, what? I have ace 7.
Ace 7. Ace 7 good on the bottom. 2 pair good and top flush.
What else did he have? Did he have 2 pairs?
No. Oh, that's right.
Nobody had a ball.
Nobody had a
Oh, he had
ball
open-ended down here. Okay.
set.
It's not a bad call.
Backside first.
Whoa, what?
I was on both boards.
Yeah, I was trying to isolate.
I had a set on both boards.
The gamble pays off because I made somebody fold a set on my 2 pair board. 2 ends later, I'm up pocket kings on the button,
15.
and I raised $15. So something about my initial pre-flop raises, guys, I almost always keep them at $5 to $15. Sometimes $20, $25 if I'm a big stack at a more aggressive table. And then if I have queens, kings, or aces, and I'm faced with 3-bet, then of course I would 4-bet to a big raise or an all-in. But I keep these initial raises small for a couple of reasons. One, mainly being to maintain pot control throughout the hand. Lots of people actually get stacked on premiums because they pot commit themselves in a big pot. And they can't get away from, let's say, queens on a flop where somebody flops like a sneaky set or a big draw. And then they can't get away from the hand because they already have so much money in. And then another reason why I do this is because I like to disguise my hand. That's a very big part of my game. There's some people who will initially raise 20 plus with only like queens, kings, and aces. So at that point, it's easy to play them because you kind of know what you're going up against. And then if you flop big, then you can know how to play them and you can, like, let's say, trap them or something.
More than 15.
I might just fold it so easy.
51.
But anyway, something interesting happens here. The small blind actually raises to 51. Now, 95+% of my opponents, I'm snap raising here to all in. The thing is, this player has a very tight range. Like, he doesn't even do this with ace king or 10s or below. So he at least has jacks, queens, or aces. And I don't even see him doing this with jacks. So I feel like I'm 50-50 on if he's doing this with queens or aces. But as part of my strategy, like, heads up, you just never fold kings because statistically, in general, if you're dealt kings, the chance that somebody else has aces is only like 3%. And I'll be making a video very soon that goes over like poker basics and stuff, and I'll try to dive into all of that. Okay.
Calls.
So here I actually make an interesting decision, and I decided to call with the expectation that we're going to go all in on the flop. But I do call to see the flop anyway, because let's say that an ace and a queen come out, then maybe I can get away from this hand and save $100. Or on the flip side, let's say that a king comes out, then I'll at least have the comfort of knowing that I'm good. The flop comes out all low cards, which doesn't help any, especially after he jams. I hope you got queens, because I know you ain't 3-betting. All right.
I hope I was clean. For the vlog. Oh, for the vlog.
Golly! I know you got aces. You got aces? Look at that guy. You good? I take a couple seconds, but I call, of course. Yeah, queens.
I went to
Sorry, bro. I thought you had. Okay.
king.
I knew you had at least that, but. And surprisingly, he reveals jacks here. Thought you had aces, man. I didn't mean to roll you, but you know I respect your bets now. Now, those of you that don't know what a nit roll is, it's when you take long to call when you have a strong hand, but you call and you actually have the winning hand. It's not really a bad etiquette move. It's just something that happens when you start reading people's hands and you really think that they have you beat, but you're so strong that you're not going to lay it down.
Yeah, that board was too safe for Jack. That situation.
Everybody else, I snapped all in on the pre-flop.
If you go all in right there, I gotta think about it.
Yeah, and that too, I thought he might fold too if he has like... So I end up doubling up on this hand, and very quickly I've already tripled my money.
May the best vlogger win. No, there's only one. Five on the rock.
Now this next hand, it's not a hand that I'm involved in, but I wanted to show you guys that are new to poker or new even to bomb pots. Here my friend raises because he flops a straight, and he faces a check raise all in.
All in over here. All of a sudden, everybody got a hand.
This here, guys, especially as a big stack, is an easy fold. Even on a bomb pot with only 4 cards, you gotta let it go because the straight is very vulnerable here. Like if he doesn't have big diamonds, he's dodging a diamond. If he doesn't have a set to go with it, he's dodging the board pairing.
It's 165.
Yep. What a monster. Almost nut, pretty much.
I'm just glad.
Hey, did you have a straight?
Yeah, I had 5-7.
Yeah, see, I was gonna tell you that's a good pull because like you're dodging a lot.
Yeah, the diamonds were out there.
Yeah.
I mean, compare of any second.
That's a good pull, man.
People who don't play regularly or play to gamble, they'll lose a lot here, if not all their chips.
A lot of people don't make that pull, but I tell you, because you didn't really have nothing on this.
I'm not a lot of people.
I know, right? I know. Good fold, man. Because you're dodging diamonds, running.
It was just too much that could have went wrong.
Yeah.
If it was a rainbow board, I might have called it.
Or if you had maybe 2 pair over here, or a set of 5s, like
Yeah. I had 7. I had 2 7s, 5, and a queen. So yeah, if I had like 7s and 5s, I'm definitely calling there.
He said, I'm not a lot of people.
These next few hands, I don't get in big pots or make a lot, but they still added up as part of my profit, and I want to show you guys why they're still important in the long run. They're not like the big flashy highlights you'll see all over YouTube, but these happen as much, if not more, than those big pots.
This one might make the blood. You gotta go all in though.
Right. Might be heavy. Right, we got a party in 4.
And yeah, I want y'all to get a feel of what it's like to play poker. It's not always, I think I said this in vlog 1, it's not always like craziness going on. Sometimes it's just little pots here and there.
I got a king, yeah.
It's open-ended the whole time.
Oh, 8-9?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
6 was the best card I was hoping to see.
Yeah.
Like a break 6, like a club or something.
If it came out a blank and you bet, I probably would have voted, to be honest. Because you didn't seem scared of the king, but then if a 9 came out,
Yeah.
that would have given you a pair and open ender. So you might have bet on that, and then I would have called. But. So we could have got interesting. You're good, bro.
In this hand, I'm dealt pocket 3s, and for small pairs, of course, hitting a set is the main thing you want to look for on the flop. Quick side note, you'll flop a set 1 in every about 9 times. So my strategy with that is basically, as long as you can see the pot get to at least 10x whatever you put in, then you should play the pocket pair. So in this case, let's say I put in $15. If I can see the pot get to at least 150, I'll be in it. They call this set mining, and that's the good strategy for doing that.
Check.
But also, let's say if the flop comes paired, like 2 7s come out, sometimes you'll be good in these spots too and can check call. But for those times, you really have to try to read on what people are on because it's hard to tell if you're good in those spots. Whereas if you flop a set, you'll win most of the time, like at least 80 to 90% of the time, maybe even more.
More new one, guys.
Why don't you believe me? I got a set.
Set of 5. Set of 3.
In this hand, I juiced up the pot a bit since I'm in position with Broadway cards. I flop top pair, and in many spots, I'll check here for pot control and to dodge people that are trapping in with 2 pair or a set. But in this case, I decide to bet, and I get a couple of callers.
Brandon Ingram just got traded. To the Raptors.
When it's checked to me on the turn, this is where my read is that I'm good, because when people are trapping on the flop, they'll either check raise or they'll lead out on the turn. But those that call to chase usually check on the turn. Now yes, people that chase and hit on the turn, they could check raise, but I'm not worried about this turn card, so I bet again to see if I can get folds.
I'm excited to see that.
It's gonna be 45.
We're trying.
Keep in mind, guys, what helped me in this hand was my position. Position is very important in poker and something I talk about in the future. Very next hand, I still have good position, so I raised $10 with Jack 10. My opponent raises 30. For certain players, this will be concerning. I'll just let this hand go. But I call for a couple of reasons. One is my position to him, of course. You want to be in position to the pre-flop aggressors if you can. The second reason is because this guy has played a riskier and more gambly playstyle in the past. Today, he's actually making solid moves and has built up a stack. But I know he has at least a little gambly playstyle in him. The flop is pretty good to me. I flop top pair with a straight draw. Even if I was behind, an all in here wouldn't be a bad gamble. But my strategy towards looser players is to not chase or gamble when I don't need to. If I have this flop crushed, I'm going to win it most of the time anyway, and the looser players will often bluff or chase right into me. This check turn tells me I'm likely good. The river puts a straight on the board, but I have a straight to the jack. And it's actually a good scenario because if he has nothing, he may assume we're both playing the board and will probably bet to steal the pot.
All in.
All in? Call? All in call.
Okay, chop it up.
It turns out we both had a jack. Luckily, he didn't have a queen with it.
Yeah, I should have. All right, you were going to fold. I was saying I should have bet the turn, but I don't think you would have folded. Maybe. If I go all in or something.
So this hand, you could argue if I played aggressive on the flop, he might have folded and I could have won like $80. But keep in mind, as I said, this player has shown loose tendencies in the past. So I think this scenario might have happened either way if he wanted to chase his overs. It's just part of the game. Like he could have had an overpair or had me beat on the flop, and then I would have been sad boy playing aggressively. That's the thing with looser opponents is like, yes, you have to put them on a wider range, but you can't just rule out that they don't have a big hand because sometimes they do.
Play good over there.
This hand I get dealt queens and I only raised 10.
Raise it up.
To $10. I do like it more over here. You already saw mine? You probably already saw my cards.
I wish.
Check.
I flop a set and lead out.
And don't believe me. Don't do it.
I check the river here to induce a bluff, but he's smart. He knows he has showdown value and he checks.
I got it.
Yeah, I knew you just had something, bro. I had diamonds, obviously.
I wanted to see it.
I knew. That.
Oh, you had diamonds?
Yeah.
This is another hand. If I play it more aggressively, I probably would have made more. But hindsight is 2020. Part of my strategy is losing the minimum, like in cooler spots or when people hit their draws, because he could have easily hit a diamond here. On the flop, he had a 30% chance to beat me, even though I had a set. So I don't always want to pot commit myself. Oftentimes, people with strong hands, even just like 2-pair, will automatically want to maximize the pot. Yes, you'll make the max value that way when you win, but you'll also lose the max value when you get beat. So sometimes it's good to just be happy with these smaller pots.
10?
No, on this one. Not this one.
30. Uh-oh. I recorded that hand.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Nah. I had aces full, and I wasn't betting on the wheel.
Oh, he had a dry
He had
ace and the spades hit.
He had nuts.
Another
like
board.
6, 7.
This is another interesting hand. I'm in position, board comes paired, which shouldn't hit his range and should hit mine.
We stay on the river, which I did one.
I had aces
And
spades
on the
full, but
bottom, I was going for the nut.
So I c-bet and take it down. And honestly, my ace high alone was probably good.
More than 5 nights.
Almost. You know, would never give me quads, bro. The only time he gives me quads, he gives me just one card. It was quad 10s one time. I had one tournament and he gave me.
You got quads, you got the best.
In this hand, I have jacks. This opponent just lost a big pot earlier and doesn't have much left. So he's on tilt, so I know he's going to act out aggressively.
15. Checkers.
I flop a set and just let him bet into me.
Checkers. 15. Alright, let's show everybody. That much. Got 21 of them. Jacks. 29. 3 flies. Good.
Thank you. He didn't like Tame Impala, I guess.
Here's another hand. I check my top pair on the turn and value bet on the river.
$10. Got first. Right?
Go ahead.
Going.
Shaggers.
Check. Yep. $10.
$10. I got a 10.
10 with a queen.
I get this call because I didn't telegraph my hand on the turn. And then these next 2 hands I get back to back. Again, these pots aren't big, but they add up.
Yeah.
$10.
I get.
I guess, you know, because remember he did that. Remember, he's like, I'm going to call you. Maybe
Oh, yeah. He
maybe
thought
he
you
thought I was
were.
going to do the same thing, too.
He thought you were bluffing. 10.
$10. Oh yeah.
He lost everything? He plays. Well,
Let him keep betting. Yeah, let him keep betting.
Yeah.
15.
I had a king. Remember the first time when I beat him? I had a king. I knew. I don't know what he was. I know.
2 in a row.
2 in a row.
Straight draw, flush draw, quad draw.
Suited jacks.
Last hand I get dealt aces.
10.
Tension.
And unlike the dream spot I was in the first vlog, there's sad times where you get aces or kings and nobody has anything. Nothing to even call at $10.
Let me have $2.
I can't.
You got to. That'll get you fired.
Now, it's not often you get dealt multiple premiums in like 30 minutes or even an hour. These moments do come in though, and to be a winning poker player, you got to take advantage and play these hands well. On the other hand, sometimes you're card dead, which means that you're dealt cards that are hard to play, like low cards that are connected or suited. And through these times, you got to minimize your errors and losses. It takes a lot of focus and patience and discipline. I ended up leaving at 12:30 for about a 3-hour session. I only had my initial buy-in of $100 and I cashed out $660. Now, as you guys saw, this was an easier session, and a big part of that had to do with me getting dealt good cards and good spots. To get dealt that many premiums within 3 hours was definitely good luck on my side. As the cliche goes, you play the hands you're dealt, or the cards you're dealt, however it goes. I'd like to get to posting twice a week, guys. Editing videos is just a process, but I still plan on posting every Friday, so stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the support. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.